Okay, welcome back to tutorial number 10. We're going to be looking at advanced graphics, and it's actually probably tutorial 14 in the zip folder. Some of this stuff I've kind of combined. Okay, so today we're going to look at scatter plots, contour plots, and animations, and how to actually save a video. Okay, so I kind of have it opened up here. Here's my header. And basically my main code, I always start with those. And what I want to look at first, okay, is let's look at a scatter plot. Okay, and then we'll do a color bar and make it kind of cool. So what I did is I picked three different variables. X, which is going to be my x-axis, y, which is going to be my y-axis, and then t, which I'm going to assume is the temperature at these points. Okay. Now, if you notice here, I have random. This is a built-in Matlab function that if you do rand and then do 100, comma 1, it's going to make 100 of these rows, one column. If you change it to 2, it'll do 100 in 2 columns. Okay, or you can change this to 10, and it'll do 10 rows in 2 columns. And if you notice, keep an eye on these numbers. Every time you run it, they're random numbers. It just creates a random set of numbers, okay? And I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes, okay? Now let's create a scatter plot, okay? So figure, just create a new figure, and I'm going to say scatter, and then I'm going to say x, comma y, and then this number, I'll show you here in a second. I'm going to put it to 20, okay? And then T and then filled. Okay, so let's just run this. So this makes a scatter plot. Okay, so it makes all these plots. This is my X values, these are my Y values, and the colors are filled with the temperature. I'm assuming that those are the temperatures. And again, this is just random. Okay, if I run it again, you'll get different points at different locations and different colors. Okay. If I change this number to, say, 60, watch what happens. It just makes the circles bigger, okay? You don't need filled in there, so if you don't put filled, all right, then they won't be filled, okay? I like it filled, it's easier to see. So with the scatter plot, okay, X and Y are the points everywhere, and then you have to have whatever, if it's temperature or say velocity in a wind tunnel or whatever, that has to be the same size as X and Y. Okay. Now what we can do is we can put a color bar on the map on the right side, and we can change some things. Okay. So here I kept it at 60 for the size, but now I can see, okay, the red is the temperature. It's hotter here, and the blue ones are cold. Okay, and again, this is just random. Now that's the color bar. Now I can change the color map of it. Okay, so if I type help color map, it should tell us. Actually, let's go to documentation. It'll tell us some cool things that we can change it to. Okay, I believe it's like there's autumn. I think there is, oh, let's see right here. There we go. This is what we want. So I have jet, which is this color map. So dark blue to like a dark red. You could do gray, bone, pink. Let's try cool. Okay, so if we go back to your code and you replace what's in single quote with cool, you will actually get a different color map from light blue to pink. Okay, pretty cool. Didn't bunch. So that's a scatter plot. Okay. All right, well, let's look at a contour map. Okay. We'll label this B, contour map. And I'm going to copy and paste some things. So I'm making a matrix for X, and I'm making a matrix for Y. Okay, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then 0, 1, 2, 3, and 0, 1, 2, 3, and 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these are basically going to be the points. Okay, and then you got 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, and 3, 3, 3. Okay, so let me run this and show you what this looks like. You're going to have dots. Okay, let's make them stars to see a little easier. Dots are a little hard to see. Okay, so here we go. So if you notice, the 0, 1, 2, 3 for X is right here. 0, 1, 2, 3. And down here, it's 0, 0, 0 for Y. That's why they're pointed here. Then the next set are 0, 1, 2, 3. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, but it's Y of 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay. So if you're making a contour map, you have to map it. So this is 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0. This is 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, and so forth. Okay. So that's how you map those X and Y points. Okay. Now, let's say at each one of these points, we know the temperature. Okay, just like similar up here, where instead of doing a random, I now know the temperatures. Okay, let's say the temperatures are this. So at 0, 0, it's 100. At 1, 0, it's 80. At 2, 0, it's 60. At 3, 0, it's 40. And so forth. 0, 1 is 100, 1, 1 it's 80, and so forth. Okay, so this point lines up with the 0, 0. 3, 3 lines up with this. Okay, this should be the same size as your X and Y. Okay, now what we can do is let's just get rid of that. We don't need to plot that anymore. Actually, I could probably do that. Let's plot it. Let's not get rid of it. Let's cut and paste it right here. And then I'll say hold on so you can see. Okay. So these points are still here. They're a little hard to see, but they're still here. But if you notice, all of my points along where X is 0, all the way from 0, 1, 2, and 3 for Y, it's 100. Okay. And then it goes to 80, and then 60, and then what is it? Then finally 40. Okay. So this is how you make a contour map, by saying contour F, which is filled, okay, X, Y, your temperature, and then 50 is the contour map. So say we change this to 10, okay, and they're a little bit smaller increments, okay. So if we put the color bar on there, and we can also then change the color map if we wanted to, okay, and say we change this back to 30, or change it to 30. You see now how it changes the increments here. Okay, it's a little bit more accurate because you got more of a contour map that you can change. But because we're only doing it from 180 to 60 to 40, it's not going to change our place here that much. Okay. All right. So it's this number again changes the number of colors that are used in your calculation. Okay, but because we have such a small number, it's not me and you can definitely tell the same trend when you change this from 10 to 30 to 100. Okay. All right, cool. And then look, it's a little bit smoother transition if you do more, right? Because you're using more colors in your calculation. Okay. See that? Oh, it's really windy out. Now, if you notice here, we have X and Y. We made these. Well, there is a slightly faster way. Oh, let's see here. that we can, instead of using, I'm going to type return here. Instead of making our own, we could just do mesh grid. It's a shortcut built-in function in Matlab that will do the same thing that we did up here. Okay, so it actually makes a mesh grid. Okay, it makes this grid just like we did before by just doing 0 by 1 to 3. Okay, all right. And then you just use the same T matrix. You still have to make this because this could be from experiments. All right, or if you have equations based on these points, X and Y, then you can do that too. Okay, all right. So you're going to get the same kind of, okay. So here I used 50, and we got, if you notice, you see how there's lines that are showing here? I just took the lines completely out. That's what this line style means, takes it right out, okay? So I actually prefer this. This looks much better, okay? And again, we could change the color map by doing that, okay? I don't know, the lines kind of mess up my eyes a little bit. Cool, okay. So talked about scatter plots, talked about contour maps, mesh grids. Now let's talk about plotting animations and saving the video. All right. Okay, so let me copy and paste a bunch of this. So I'm just restarting my code. I could probably delete everything, okay? All right, here I'm just making some points. This is a matrix, okay? It goes from -10 by 0.01 to 10. I'm starting an animation variable. You'll see here in a second, okay? This is the equation that I'm going to plot, okay, which involves my k constant and w, okay? So k times w squared minus 2. That's my equation, some random equation, okay? You could use projectile motion if you wanted to, like the balls, like we did for the for and while loops. Then I'm going to plot, okay, w, which is my like points. Think of it as x. I could probably change this to x, but this is the x value we're plotting, and this is the equation that we're going to plot, okay? Now, before, I've never shown you this, but like I can assign this plot a variable. It's called a handle, okay? So h equals plot. This now is a handle, and you can, if you really wanted to dig more into Matlab, you can change some things now with the plot that you couldn't do before by just saying plot, okay? I'm going to make a while loop. So I'm going to have a loop indicator. I'm going to put the grid on, and I'm going to look at this only for the axis. Okay. Now I'm going to create a video, and I'm going to save it. Now this is slightly different than what I have in the zip folder because I tried running it, and they currently don't have that one. I think it's movie to AVI anymore. They switched to video writer. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to put that right there. So this is the video writer, okay? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a AVI file called test AVI. So just say vid object equals video writer, put your name of your file that you want to use, and then open this by using that command. Then what you want to do is set get current axis, which is GCA, the next plot, and we're going to replace children, meaning every time we plot, we calculate a new equation, then we plot it, it's going to grab that, and we're going to use that to save it. Okay, so this is just again, these 3 lines are used to establish the beginning of how you can save a video or an animation. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a while loop. So I'm going to use while k is less than 1. Okay. This is an animation variable, so this is just going to keep changing. Okay. And again, this is my equation. So when K changes, you're going to see that my equation changes. And you're going to basically see kind of like an upside down smile, or it would be a frown face, and then it would curve up to a smile face. That's what we're going to do, okay? Now, if you notice here, I'm setting my plot, my handle, and I'm updating it to X data, okay, to W, and my Y data to P. So I'm updating my plot with these new values that I just found. W is actually going to be the same, right? That doesn't change, but P does. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign this term, which is M, which is get frame. So get current frame is GCF. Then I'm going to write that video with this video object that I've assigned it. And I'm going to say comma M. Okay. And then I'm going to say draw now. This forces it to update. And then this is my loop indicator. Okay. So basically it starts at -1. I'm going to keep adding 0.01 until basically it gets to 1, right? Actually, it's going to get slightly over 1, and then it's going to break out of the loop. Then close the video. Okay, so really, these three, this 3, these 2, and that 1, you wouldn't need if you just wanted to do an animation in Matlab. This is going to make it so you save your video. Okay, and I'll open it up here in a second. Okay. So let me run this so you can see what's happening. So this is the video, the animation. It's going from a frown face to a smiley face. Okay. And it broke out of the loop. Now, if I type K, okay, it's 1. Okay, because we're such a small increment. Okay. We want it less than 1, but remember, it always goes one step before that. Okay. So let me run this again. So every time that, and I'll pause it here, I'll show you, it grabs things, okay? So let me just pause. And again, this is just a random set of an example. You can use yours. Really, these 3 lines, everything's going to be the same. The only thing you're going to change is probably K and P, because these are kind of associated with the equations and how you update your graph, okay? Everything else would be the same. You just copy and paste. You change this, you change these, and maybe this. And then you have your code. You can mess around with it to get it to work, okay? So if I pause there, what's happening is it grabs this. This is like the next plot, the replace children, and it gets this frame from line 81, and then it writes it on line 82. And then I draw now to see how it looks. And then when I hit this again, okay, it definitely moved here, but it's hard to see. I'm going to click a few times. Okay, let's see, let's go right to there. Okay, so it was way down here. Now it's up here. I don't know what K value this is. But again, at every time it does a loop, whatever M value it is, it grabs this, saves it to the video, and then we can look at it later. Okay, so I'm going to just hit Control C, and I'm going to run it again to make sure it saves. Okay. Oh, I forgot to take the pause. Oh, I didn't want to do that. No. I opened up the pause code. So this is an animation, and I'm saving this as a video, and I'll open it up. So it's called test.avi. I'm opening up in Windows, and you'll be able to see it like that. Isn't that cool? So there you go. Pretty cool. So this is what I have for this tutorial. Went through scatter plots, contour plots, and we went through how to make an animation, how to update your graph, and then also how to save. All right, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Oops.